It's my journey, it's your journey. You need my help and I need yours. 'Cause we are...
Welcome to Journeys of Faith. Brother Joseph Frey Aldenhoven here. Be sure to click the link in the description for the full article. Marian apparitions, Catherine Labouré, and the Miraculous Medal. In the quiet heart of 19th century Paris, a young novice named Catherine Labouré found herself at the center of a divine mystery that would ripple through the Catholic world for generations. Her story, one of humble faith and celestial visions, isn't just a footnote in church history. It's a living testament to the power of Marian devotion, a beacon for pilgrims and believers seeking the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Here at Journeys of Faith, Inc., we're dedicated to uncovering these sacred narratives, diving deep into the lives of saints and the miracles that define our Catholic heritage. Since our founding in 1980 by Bob and Penny Lord, our mission has been to inspire and educate through authentic storytelling, pilgrimages, and resources that bring the wonders of our faith to life. Catherine Labouré encounter with the Virgin Mary in 1830 wasn't just a personal revelation. It birthed the Miraculous Medal, a sacramental that countless Catholics have worn as a shield of grace, a tangible link to Mary's promise of protection. This isn't mere folklore or dusty legend. It's a chapter of our shared spiritual journey, one that speaks to the heart of Marian apparitions and their enduring impact. Whether you're a lifelong devotee or a curious soul exploring the depths of Catholic tradition, Catherine's story invites us all to reflect on the ways the divine intersects with the ordinary. Join us as we trace her path, from the silent cloisters of the Daughters of Charity to the global devotion sparked by her visions, and discover how the Miraculous Medal continues to be a source of hope and healing for millions. Through the lens of Journeys of Faith, let's walk this sacred ground together, inspired by our motto to deepen understanding and devotion through the power of pilgrimage and storytelling. Early life and spiritual formation of St. Catherine Labouré. In the rolling hills of Burgundy, France, on May 2nd, 1806, a girl named Zoe Labouré was born into a world of toil and faith, the ninth of 11 children in a farming family. Her early life wasn't marked by divine visions or heavenly choirs, at least not yet. Instead, it was shaped by the gritty reality of loss and labor. Her mother died when Zoe was just 9, thrusting her into a role of caretaker for her younger siblings while her father worked the fields. Picture a child barely old enough to grasp her own grief, stepping into a mother's shoes, kneading bread and tending to scrape knees with a quiet resolve that would later define her sainthood. But faith was the heartbeat of the Labouré household, a steady rhythm amidst the chaos. Zoe's father, though stern and weathered by life, instilled in her a deep reverence for the church. She often slipped away to the local chapel, a sanctuary of stillness where she could kneel before the Blessed Virgin Mary, her spiritual mother, in the absence of her earthly one. It's here, in these stolen moments of prayer, that you can almost see the seeds of her vocation taking root, though she couldn't have known the extraordinary path ahead. At 18, after a dream in which St. Vincent de Paul beckoned her to a life of service, Zoe felt the pull toward religious life, a call she couldn't ignore even if she tried. Her father, however, wasn't keen on losing another pair of hands to the convent. He sent her to Paris to work in her brother's restaurant, hoping the bustle of city life would drown out her spiritual longing. But Paris, with its noise and grit, only sharpened her focus. Zoe, now in her early 20s, pushed back against the mundane, her heart still tethered to that chapel in Burgundy. In 1830, she finally entered the Daughters of Charity of Saint Vincent de Paul, taking the name Catherine. This wasn't just a name change, it was a transformation. Her formation as a novice was marked by humility and discipline, a stripping away of self in service to others. She worked in a hospice, tending to the poor and elderly, her hands calloused but her spirit alight with purpose. Little did she know the Mother of God was about to step into her quiet life with a mission that would echo through centuries. Join us on a journey of faith with Journeys of Faith Incorporated. Hey there, fellow seekers of the divine. If the story of Catherine Labouré and the Miraculous Medal has stirred something in your soul, let's take this journey deeper together. At Journeys of Faith Inquiry, we've been guiding Catholics like you since 1980, uncovering the miracles and mysteries of our faith through authentic pilgrimages and powerful storytelling. Founded by Bob and Penny Lord, our mission is to inspire and educate, helping you grow closer to Christ through the rich heritage of the Church. Browse our Miraculous Medal collection. Here's how you can dive in with us. Embark on a pilgrimage. Walk in the footsteps of saints and visionaries at holy shrines worldwide, experiencing the transformative power of Marian devotion firsthand. Explore our resources from books like This Is My Body, This Is My Blood, to streaming content and retreats. Our multimedia library brings miracles and saints' lives to your home. Join our community, connect with fellow Catholics through our programs, and share in the awe of God's wonders. Don't just read about faith, live it. Visit our website today and let Journeys of Faith guide you to a deeper devotion. Let's uncover the divine together. France in 1830, social and religious context for the apparitions. Let's set the stage. France in 1830 was a nation staggering under the weight of its own history, a country still reeling from the aftershocks of revolution and empire. The French Revolution of 1789 had upended everything: monarchy, church, and the very fabric of society, leaving a legacy of secularism that clashed hard against the deep Catholic roots of the people. By the time Catherine Labouré experienced her visions, France was a pressure cooker of political upheaval and spiritual hunger. The July Revolution of 1830, which unfolded just months before the apparitions, saw the overthrow of King Charles II and the rise of the more liberal Louis Philippe I. Barricades went up in Paris, blood stained the streets, and the air was thick with uncertainty. For many, it felt like the world was unmoored. Religiously, the landscape was just as turbulent. The Catholic Church, once the bedrock of French identity, had been battered by decades of anti-clerical policies. Monasteries and convents had been shuttered during the Revolution. Priests forced into hiding or exile, and the faithful often left without shepherds. Yet, beneath the surface, there was a quiet, stubborn resurgence. Devotion to the Virgin Mary, in particular, was a lifeline for many French Catholics, a way to cling to hope amid chaos. Confraternities and lay movements dedicated to Mary were gaining traction, and the longing for divine intervention was palpable. People were desperate for a sign, a whisper from heaven that God hadn't abandoned them. Into this fractured world stepped Catherine Labouré, a young daughter of charity serving in a Paris convent. Her visions of the Blessed Virgin Mary in November of 1830 didn't happen in a vacuum. They were a response to a society crying out for healing. Mary's message, delivered through the Miraculous Medal, promised grace and protection to those who sought it, a tangible lifeline for a people battered by loss and division. The timing wasn't coincidence, it was providence, speaking directly to the wounds of a nation. The night of July 18th, the first visit of Our Lady. In the stillness of a Paris night, something extraordinary unfolded on July 18, 1830, within the humble walls of the Daughters of Charity convent on Rue du Bac. Catherine Labouré, a young novice still finding her footing in her vocation, was roused from sleep by a voice, a child's voice, urgent and tender, calling her name. It was no dream, no trick of a weary mind. This was real as the wooden floor beneath her feet as she followed the mysterious summons to the chapel. There, in the flickering glow of candlelight, Catherine beheld a sight that would forever alter the course of her life and ripple through the faith of millions. The Blessed Virgin Mary stood before her, radiant and serene, her presence both a comfort and a call to action. Our Lady spoke with a clarity that pierced the heart, entrusting Catherine with a mission of profound importance. She warned of turbulent times ahead for France and the world, prophecies of suffering and upheaval that would soon prove true. But amidst the foretold darkness, Mary offered a beacon of hope, a promise of grace for those who would turn to her. Yet this first apparition was intimate, almost personal, as if Mary had chosen Catherine not for her stature or eloquence, but for her quiet humility, her willingness to listen. The young novice knelt in awe, absorbing every word, every gesture as the Mother of God laid the groundwork for what was to come. It wasn't just a vision, it was a commissioning, a sacred charge that would test Catherine's faith and obedience in ways she could scarcely imagine. That night, the seeds of the miraculous medal were planted, though the full design of Mary's plan remained a mystery, waiting to unfold in the encounters that followed. November 27th, vision, the miraculous medal revealed in the quiet, hallowed halls of the Daughters of Charity Convent in Paris on the night of November 27th, 1830. Catherine Labouré found herself drawn into a moment that would ripple through the history of Catholic devotion. She was no stranger to the supernatural by then. Earlier visions of the Virgin Mary had already stirred her humble heart. But this night was different. This was the night when the miraculous medal, a tangible symbol of divine grace, would be unveiled to the world through her eyes. As Catherine knelt in prayer, the air seemed to shimmer with a holy presence. Mary appeared standing on a globe, rays of light streaming from her hands, a vision of maternal power and compassion. Around her, an oval frame bore the words, O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee. It was a plea and a promise etched into the very fabric of the moment. Then, as if time itself paused, the image rotated, revealing a cross intertwined with the letter M, flanked by the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary, with 12 stars encircling the design. Mary's voice, gentle yet commanding, broke the silence. She instructed Catherine to have a medal struck in this image, assuring her that those who wore it with faith would receive abundant graces. This wasn't just a vision, it was a mission. Catherine, a simple novice with no worldly influence, was tasked with bringing this sacred design into being, a daunting charge in a world often skeptical of the unseen. Yet, there was a quiet strength in her, a resolve forged by faith. She understood the weight of what she'd been given, a symbol that would become a lifeline for countless souls seeking Mary's intercession. The miraculous medal wasn't merely an object, it was a conduit of hope, a reminder of the mother who stands ready to guide her children through life's tempests. The road to seeing the medal created wouldn't be easy. Catherine faced doubt and bureaucratic hurdles within her own community. Her accounts of the visions met with cautious scrutiny, but the clarity of that November night burned in her memory, a beacon urging her forward. This vision wasn't just a fleeting dream, it was a divine blueprint, a call to action that would eventually touch millions, offering solace and strength through a small piece of metal imbued with heaven's promise. December 1830, final encounter and mission entrusted. In the quiet chill of December 1830, Catherine Labouré found herself once again in the presence of the Blessed Virgin Mary, an encounter that would seal her mission and alter the course of countless lives. This wasn't just another vision, it was the culmination of a divine directive delivered with a clarity that left no room for doubt. Mary appeared standing upon a globe, her feet crushing a serpent, a stark symbol of triumph over evil. Rays of light streamed from her hands, representing the graces she longed to pour out on those who would ask. But there was a catch. Not all the rays were shining. Some remained dim, a silent reminder of graces unclaimed, of prayers unspoken. Catherine, ever the humble daughter of the countryside, stood transfixed as Mary spoke with a tenderness that belied the weight of her words. The Blessed Mother entrusted her with a mission as precise as it was profound, to create a medal, a tangible token of devotion that would carry the image Catherine now beheld. On the front, Mary's likeness was to be encircled by the plea, O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to the autorities. On the reverse, a key is a cross intertwined with the letter M for Mary, surrounded by 12 stars and 2 hearts, one pierced by a sword, the other crowned with thorns. This wasn't mere artistry, it was theology in metal, a reminder of Mary's immaculate conception and her role as mediatrix of grace. Mary's instruction was unflinching. Have a medal struck after this model. All who wear it will receive great graces. They should wear it around the neck. Catherine, a novice with no influence or means, must have felt the enormity of the task, yet there was no hesitation in the Virgin's voice, no room for second guessing. This was a call to action, a blueprint for a devotion that would ripple through the faithful like a stone dropped in still water. The miraculous medal, as it would come to be known, wasn't just a trinket, it was a lifeline, a physical connection to the Mother of God, promising protection and intercession to those who embraced it with faith. But Catherine's journey was far from over. The path to fulfilling this mission would test her resolve, her patience, and her trust in the unseen. She would face skepticism, bureaucratic delays, and the quiet burden of a secret she could share with only a trusted few. Yet in that December moment, as Mary's presence lingered in the chapel air, Catherine knew one thing with unshakable certainty. She had been chosen for this, and the graces of the medal would be a beacon for generations yet unborn. The design of the medal, heaven's symbols, explained. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of the miraculous medal, a tiny piece of sacred art that's packed with divine meaning. When Catherine Labouré received her visions in 1830, the Blessed Virgin Mary didn't just hand over a vague idea, she gave a blueprint straight from heaven, every detail loaded with purpose. This wasn't some abstract doodle, it's a theological puzzle, a spiritual cheat sheet etched in metal meant to guide the faithful through prayer and protection. On the front of the medal, we've got Mary standing on a globe, her feet crushing a serpent. Yeah, it's as epic as it sounds, a direct callback to Genesis 3:15, where God promises enmity between the serpent and the woman. Mary, as the Immaculate Conception, is the ultimate foe of Satan, stomping out sin with every step. Her hands are outstretched, rays of light pouring down, symbolizing the graces she's ready to shower on anyone who asks. Around the edge, the inscription reads, O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee. It's not just a plea, it's a declaration of her sinless nature, a truth Catherine's visions helped cement just before the dogma was officially defined in 1854. Flip the medal over, and you're hit with a dense cluster of symbols that could keep a theologian up at night. At the center, there's a cross intertwined with the letter M, Mary and Jesus, inseparable in their mission of redemption. Beneath it, two hearts, the Sacred Heart of Jesus, crowned with thorns, and the Immaculate Heart of Mary, pierced by a sword, echoing Simeon's prophecy of sorrow. Surrounding this core are 12 stars, a nod to the woman crowned with stars in Revelation 12, often interpreted as Mary, the Queen of Heaven. Every inch of this design screams intentionality, a heavenly infographic meant to remind us of sacrifice, intercession, and ultimate victory. And what's wild is how this medal isn't just a pretty trinket, it's a weapon of faith. Mary herself promised that those who wear it with devotion would receive great graces. It's like carrying a spiritual power-up, a tangible link to the divine that's been clutched by millions, from soldiers in battle to mothers in prayer, all seeking that heavenly assist. The symbols aren't just for show. They're a call to meditate on Mary's role as mediatrix, as the one who stands ready to intercede if we only reach out. From Rue du Bac to the world promulgation of the medal. In the quiet heart of Paris, on the unassuming Rue du Bac, a divine blueprint was handed to Catherine Labouré in 1830, a medal meant to be a beacon of grace. The miraculous medal, as it would come to be known, wasn't just a trinket. It was a mission, a tangible link to the Immaculate Conception, with Mary herself promising that all who wear it will receive great graces. But how did this small piece of metal, etched with heavenly imagery, leap from the visions of a humble novice to the necks and hearts of millions worldwide? Catherine, ever obedient to the Virgin's directive, shared the design with her confessor, Father Jean-Marie Aladel. Picture this, a young woman barely literate in the ways of the world, recounting a celestial encounter with such clarity that it couldn't be dismissed as mere fancy. The design was precise, Mary standing on a globe, crushing a serpent, rays of grace streaming from her hands, surrounded by the words, O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee. On the reverse, a cross intertwined with an M, flanked by the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Father Aladel, though initially skeptical, couldn't ignore the weight of her conviction. He took the vision to the Archbishop of Paris, Hyacinthe Louis de Caylin, who gave the green light for the medal's creation in 1832. What followed was nothing short of a spiritual wildfire. The first batch of medals struck by the goldsmith Adrien Vachette began circulating among the faithful. Stories of miracles, healings, conversions, protections started trickling in, then pouring. A cholera epidemic ravaged Paris in 1832, and those who wore the medal reported astonishing deliverances. Word spread like gossip in a small town, but this was no idle chatter, it was testimony. By 1834, over 500,000 medals had been distributed, not just in France, but across Europe, carried by missionaries and pilgrims alike. The Daughters of Charity, Catherine's own order, became relentless ambassadors, ensuring the medal reached the farthest corners of the Catholic world. This wasn't just a religious fad. The miraculous medal became a symbol of hope in a Europe battered by revolution and secularism. It was a quiet rebellion against despair, a reminder that Mary's intercession was as real as the medal pressed against one's skin. People didn't just wear it, they clung to it, prayed with it, lived by it. The medal's reach wasn't limited to the devout. Skeptics, too, found themselves drawn to its promise, often after witnessing inexplicable turns of fortune. By the end of the 19th century, tens of millions of medals had been produced, each one a tiny echo of that night on Rue du Bac when heaven touched earth. The promulgation of the medal wasn't orchestrated by some grand marketing scheme. It was fueled by faith, by the raw, unpolished power of personal stories. Every healing, every answered prayer became a thread in a vast tapestry of devotion, stretching from Parisian streets to remote villages halfway across the globe. Catherine herself stayed in the shadows, her role unknown to the world until much later, content to let Mary's message and the medal speak for itself. Ecclesial approval and theological significance. And let's dig into the nuts and bolts of how the miraculous medal gained its standing in the Catholic Church and why it matters on a deeper level. After Catherine Labouré visions of the Blessed Virgin Mary in 1830, the Church didn't just rubber stamp the whole affair. There was scrutiny, serious, methodical investigation, because frankly, claims of divine apparitions aren't taken lightly. The Archbishop of Paris, Hyacinthe Louis de Caylin, launched an inquiry into Catherine's accounts, poring over her testimony and the circumstances surrounding the apparitions at the Rue du Bac convent. By 1836, after careful examination, the Church gave its nod of approval, recognizing the visions as authentic and the medal's design as a legitimate sacramental. Now, this wasn't just a bureaucratic checkbox. Ecclesial approval meant the miraculous medal could be distributed widely, and it signaled to the faithful that this wasn't some fleeting fad, but a devotion rooted in something real. The medal's inscription, O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee, directly ties to the doctrine of the Immaculate Conception, a belief that Mary was preserved from original sin from the moment of her conception. This wasn't yet dogma in 1830, that would come in 1854 under Pope Pius IX, but the medal became a kind of theological foreshadowing, a tangible reminder of Mary's unique role in salvation history. It's like the Church was beta testing a profound truth through this little piece of metal. Theologically, the miraculous medal isn't just a trinket, it's a conduit of grace, or so the faithful believe. Catherine herself reported Mary's promise that those who wear it with devotion would receive great graces, and countless stories of healings, conversions, and protections have been attributed to it over the centuries. Think of it as a physical hyperlink to the divine, a reminder of Mary's intercession, and a call to trust in her maternal care. It's not magic. The Church is clear that sacramentals like this don't work ex opere operato by their own power like sacraments do. Instead, they're tools that dispose the wearer to receive grace through faith and prayer. That distinction matters, grounding the devotion in a theology that's less about superstition and more about a living relationship with God through Mary. On a broader scale, the miraculous medal's significance lies in its timing. The 19th century was a rough patch for the Church. Think French Revolution aftershocks, secularism on the rise and faith under fire. Mary's appearance to Catherine with a message of hope and a tangible sign like the medal felt like a rallying cry to the faithful. It was as if heaven was saying, "Hold fast, I've got your back." The medal became a symbol of resilience, a quiet but powerful way for Catholics to carry their devotion in a world that wasn't always friendly to it. And that's not just pious fluff, it's a historical reality that shaped how this devotion spread like wildfire from Paris to the farthest corners of the globe. Documented miracles and conversions attributed to the medal. Let's dive into the gritty, awe-inspiring reality of the miraculous medal, a small piece of metal that's punched way above its weight in the realm of divine intervention. Since its inception in 1830, when the Blessed Virgin Mary entrusted its design to St. Catherine Labouré, this medal has been tied to stories of healings, protections, and straight-up life-altering conversions that defy skepticism. These aren't just whispers in church pews. Many of these accounts have been rigorously documented, investigated, and preserved as testaments to faith. Take the case of Pauline Jaricot, a French laywoman and founder of the Society for the Propagation of the Faith. In 1836, she was on death's doorstep, battling a severe heart condition that left doctors shaking their heads. A priest gave her a miraculous medal, and with a desperate prayer to Our Lady, she wore it. What followed was nothing short of staggering. Her condition reversed, baffling medical experts who had no explanation beyond the spiritual. Her recovery was later examined and upheld as a miracle linked to the medal, a story that rippled through Catholic circles and fueled devotion. Then there's the conversion of Alphonse Ratisbonne, a Jewish banker and avowed atheist who, in 1842, found himself in Rome with a chip on his shoulder against anything remotely Christian. A friend, half in jest, dared him to wear a miraculous medal and pray the Memorare. Ratisbonne, more amused than convinced, agreed. Days later, while visiting the church of Sant Andrea della Fratte, he experienced a vision of the Virgin Mary exactly as depicted on the medal. The encounter shattered his worldview. He fell to his knees, converted on the spot, and was baptized soon after. His transformation was so profound that it was investigated by ecclesiastical authorities who deemed it authentic. This wasn't just a personal pivot, it became a public witness to the medal's power. These stories aren't outliers. Countless reports from the 19th century onward detail inexplicable healings, tuberculosis vanishing, blindness reversed, and even protection during wars and disasters. Soldiers in battle have claimed the medal shielded them from bullets, while families credit it for safeguarding their homes during epidemics. The church, ever cautious, doesn't rubber stamp every claim, but the sheer volume of testimonies, many backed by medical or historical corroboration, builds a case that's hard to dismiss. What ties these accounts together is a thread of surrender, people at their lowest grasping for hope, finding something tangible in this medal to anchor their prayers. It's not magic, it's a conduit, a reminder of Mary's intercession and God's grace. The miraculous medal doesn't just sit pretty on a chain, it's been a catalyst for the impossible, a quiet revolution in the lives of the faithful who dare to believe. The miraculous medal in the Vincentian family tradition. Let's dive into the heart of a spiritual legacy that's as gritty and real as any underdog story. The miraculous medal revealed to St. Catherine Labouré in 1830 isn't just a piece of devotional bling, it's a cornerstone of the Vincentian family's mission, a tangible link to the grit and grace of serving the poor. Catherine, a daughter of charity, wasn't some lofty mystic floating above the struggles of the world. She was a worker, a servant, grounded in the Vincentian charism of humility and charity, shaped by the teachings of St. Vincent de Paul and St. Louise de Marillac. Her visions of Our Lady weren't abstract daydreams. They were a call to action, a blueprint for a medal that would become a lifeline for the faithful. The design of the miraculous medal, dictated by the Blessed Mother herself, is packed with meaning, every detail a reminder of the Vincentian commitment to the marginalized. On one side, Mary stands on a globe, crushing the serpent, with rays of grace streaming from her hands. It's a raw, powerful image. God's mercy isn't passive, it's active, reaching down to the broken and the lost. Flip the medal over, and you've got the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary side by side, pierced and aflame with love. Then there's the M intertwined with a cross, a nod to Mary's role at the foot of Calvary, a role the Vincentians take to heart in their own mission to stand with the suffering. For the Vincentian family, this medal isn't just a keepsake, it's a weapon in the spiritual trenches. From the moment it was struck, stories of healings, conversions, and protection started pouring in, tales of real people down in the dirt of life, finding hope through this small piece of metal. The Daughters of Charity and the Congregation of the Mission didn't just promote the medal, they lived it, distributing it among the poor they served, seeing it as a way to bring the Immaculate Conception's intercession to those who needed it most. This wasn't about piety for piety's sake. It was about meeting people where they were in their pain and poverty and offering a sign of God's nearness. The Vincentian tradition, at its core, is about getting your hands dirty for the gospel, and the Miraculous Medal became a perfect embodiment of that. It's a quiet but fierce reminder that Mary, the first disciple, is always pointing to Christ, always interceding for the least of these. Catherine Labouré herself stayed in the background, never seeking fame for the vision she received, mirroring the Vincentian ethos of humble service. Her life and the medal she introduced to the world are a challenge to all of us to see the divine in the everyday grind, to carry grace into the messiest corners of humanity. A lasting legacy of faith with the Miraculous Medal. Browse our Miraculous Medal collection. As we reflect on the extraordinary life of Catherine Labouré and the divine gift of the Miraculous Medal, we're reminded that faith isn't just a quiet whisper, it's a roaring call to action. Through her humble obedience, Catherine became a vessel for Mary's message, offering the world a tangible symbol of grace and protection. Here at Journeys of Faith Inc., we're inspired by her story to keep digging into the rich soil of Catholic heritage, unearthing treasures like these Marian apparitions that connect us to the divine. We invite you to carry the Miraculous Medal not just as a token, but as a challenge to live with the same trust and devotion Catherine embodied. Whether you're joining us on a pilgrimage to sacred sites or diving into our books and streaming resources, let her example guide you closer to Christ through Mary. Our mission, rooted in storytelling and evangelization since 1980, is to make these miracles accessible to every Catholic heart. So take up the medal, embrace the journey, and let faith transform your life one grace at a time. FAQs about Marian apparitions, Catherine Labouré, and the Miraculous Medal. Who was Catherine Labouré? Catherine Labouré was a humble French nun of the Daughters of Charity born in 1806 in Fain-les-Moutiers, France. Raised in a devout Catholic family, she felt a deep calling to religious life after experiencing a vision of St. Vincent de Paul, who urged her to care for the sick and poor. Joining the order at the age of 24, Catherine lived a quiet life of service, largely unknown to the world, until her extraordinary encounters with the Blessed Virgin Mary changed the course of her life and Catholic devotion forever. When did Catherine Labouré experience her Marian apparitions? Catherine Labouré experienced her Marian apparitions in 1830, a pivotal year in her spiritual journey. The first apparition occurred on the night of July 18th to 19th, when she was awakened by a child, believed to be her guardian angel, who led her to the chapel for a profound encounter with the Virgin Mary. Subsequent apparitions followed, most notably on November 27th, when the design of the Miraculous Medal was revealed to her. Where did the apparitions to Catherine Labouré take place? The apparitions took place in the chapel of the Daughters of Charity Convent at Rue du Bac in Paris, France. This sacred space, now known as the Chapel of Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal, became a focal point of pilgrimage for Catholics worldwide. Journeys of Faith Inc. often highlights Rue du Bac as a must-visit destination for those seeking to walk in the footsteps of saints and witness the power of Marian devotion. What is the Miraculous Medal? The Miraculous Medal is a small devotional medal originally known as the Medal of the Immaculate Conception, designed based on the vision Catherine Labouré received from the Blessed Virgin Mary. It serves as a tangible reminder of Mary's intercession and protection, worn by millions of Catholics as a symbol of faith and a source of spiritual strength. Its design includes specific imagery and inscriptions that carry deep theological meaning. How is the Miraculous Medal connected to Catherine Labouré? The Miraculous Medal is directly connected to Catherine Labouré through the apparition she experienced in 1830. During the vision on November 27th, the Virgin Mary appeared to Catherine standing on a globe with rays of light streaming from her hands and instructed her to create a medal based on this image. Mary promised that those who wore the medal with devotion would receive great graces, a message Catherine faithfully carried forward despite her desire for anonymity. What year did the Miraculous Medal apparition occur? The specific apparition revealing the design of the Miraculous Medal occurred in 1830 on November 27th. This event marked a turning point in Catherine's life and in the history of Catholic devotion, as the medal quickly spread across the world, becoming one of the most beloved sacramentals in the Church. What did the Virgin Mary say to Catherine Labouré? During the apparitions, the Virgin Mary spoke words of comfort and mission to Catherine. In the first encounter on July 18 to 19, Mary shared insights into future hardships for France and the Church, urging prayer and trust in God. On November 27th, during the vision of the medal, Mary instructed Catherine with the words that would encircle the medal, "O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee." She also promised that all who wear this medal will receive great graces, emphasizing her role as a loving intercessor. What symbols are depicted on the Miraculous Medal? The Miraculous Medal is rich with symbolism. On the front, Mary stands on a globe, crushing a serpent beneath her feet, representing her victory over sin and Satan. Rays of light emanate from her hands, symbolizing the graces she bestows. The inscription, "O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee," surrounds her. On the reverse, a cross intertwined with the letter M signifies Mary's connection to Christ's sacrifice, while 12 stars represent the apostles or the church, and 2 hearts, one pierced by a sword, Mary's, and one crowned with thorns, Jesus, depict their shared suffering and love. Why is it called the Miraculous Medal? The medal earned the name Miraculous Medal due to the numerous miracles, healings, and conversions reported by those who wore it with faith. Initially called the Medal of the Immaculate Conception, its reputation for facilitating extraordinary graces spread rapidly after its creation in 1832, leading to the popular title that reflects the awe and gratitude of the faithful. What miracles are associated with the Miraculous Medal? Countless miracles have been attributed to the Miraculous Medal since its inception. One of the earliest and most famous is the conversion of Alphonse Ratisbonne, a Jewish agnostic who, in 1842, experienced a vision of Mary as depicted on the medal while in Rome, leading to his immediate conversion to Catholicism. Stories of physical healings, protection from danger, and spiritual transformations abound, reinforcing the medal's reputation. At Journeys of Faith Inquiry, we celebrate these testimonies as powerful reminders of Mary's intercession and encourage Catholics to explore this devotion as a pathway to deeper faith. Be sure to click the link in the description for the full article.
It's your journey, but we won't make the trip alone, 'cause we know God will lead us home.